Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. I hope everybody who celebrates a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Hopefully, everybody's over their food coma now, and welcome. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon. I'm the head trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training, and each and every Saturday morning, I bring you this live Q&A dog training session for your listening pleasures. Um, so, um, as always, guys, if you're watching now live and in living color or later on the replay, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. Just give me a shout out. Let me know. So, with that being said, we're going to get into a subject this week up until I start seeing some questions coming in like we do every week. And hopefully we get some good questions and really get my brain working today to help me work off some of the food that I ate over this past couple of days. So today I want to talk about what I call little dog syndrome. And the reason I'm going to talk about it is this week I worked with a lot of smaller dogs. These smaller dogs thought they were mastiffs in small bodies. And I've been seeing a lot of that recently where, little dogs are actually reacting and acting have a lot more unwanted behaviors than our larger dogs. And it's definitely that I've noticed over the years that there's two sets of rules for dogs. You got the big dog rules and you got the small dog rules. And what do I mean by that? When small dogs act up, one, people don't put a lot of onus onto the unwanted behavior. They kind of make excuses. Oh, it's a small dog. They're just scared. They're just protecting themselves, whatever. Especially when it comes to reactivity. And a lot of times what we'll do is when that small dog, we're walking the small dog out in the streets and it sees another dog and it's going, Tasmanian devil with the eyes bulging out and it's going. People pick up their small dogs and basically use human psychology on them by petting them and saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's only Fido. Fido isn't going to hurt you. You don't have to be scared. And we have this whole conversation with this dog. And I asked the people that I work with that have these small dogs, well, if it was that 60-pound or 70-pound dog over there, would you be picking it up and doing the same thing? And they're like, absolutely not. Well, why are you doing it for this small dog, for this, dachshund? And, you can't get a definitive answer because there is, good morning, Roxanne. Welcome to the show. So if you think about it logically, we pick up the small dog, we coo them, and we try to use human psychology by explaining to them that it's okay to bark at the other dog or bark at the people or act aggressively towards whatever. You're not teaching your dog not to do this behavior you don't want and you don't like. And it's really hard for people with small dogs because I understand it. They're afraid to make a correction because they may hurt the dog. They're afraid to do this because they may hurt the dog. They don't want to use a collar on the dog because it may hurt the dog. I hear all these, reasonings why we don't do certain things with these smaller breed dogs, but we're really not treating them like dogs. So, the dogs I worked with this week were all the same. It was small dogs, all extremely reactive on a leash to the point now where one of them actually is aggressive towards other dogs because it doesn't know how to socialize with another dog because it's constantly picked up and turned around and walked the other way or whatever, where again you wouldn't be doing this with a larger breed dog. A larger breed dog acts like that on a leash. We're going to make corrections, be it the right corrections or the wrong corrections. You're going to attempt to make corrections. And the little dogs need the same thing. And what was the hardest thing for me to convince some people is you got to discipline your small dog the same way I would discipline a larger dog. And that's with the leash correction and, of course, my energy. But the difference being is if I'm working with a 60-pound dog, my 3 correction won't be the same on a 10-pound dachshund. because of the physical size. So you got to use your common sense when you make your leash corrections. You're not going to make it as hard as you would with a larger breed dog because it doesn't need to be. That'd be like, me being 6'5", 230. You would need a lot more force to do something to me than you would to somebody who's 5'5", 100 pounds. If that makes sense, guys. Try to look at things in perspective. But the little dogs need the corrections and the guidance and the leadership and the structure and everything I talk about as much as a big dog does. And they'll be happier for it because they're getting what they need. They need to understand the rules that you expect. So if you're walking your little dog and it's acting like a Tasmanian devil on the leash, you don't want that. You need to teach it not to do that. And again, as always, without anger, without frustration, but no nonsense approach of no means no. Why? Because you said so. You don't need to explain to your Yorkie that, Rocky over there, the big bad pit bull, isn't a terrible dog. You don't need to explain it to them. You just have to say, no, this is no longer acceptable. So one of the dogs I worked with this week, very reactive. The reactivity is now turned to aggression. And I'm sure that reactivity started off like any other dog, like with excitement, but just very loud and annoying because, the small dog bark. And I brought Zoe to the job with me, and this dog went after Zoe. Now, Zoe could have literally went bump and taken care of it herself, but of course, we're not going to let her. But I did let Zoe make a correction. The dog went after Zoe. Zoe let out her growl and her snip in the air. This dog let out a yelp. Zoe's face was this far away from the other dog, but this dog let out a yelp like, holy crap, what do I do now? And after that, learned to respect Zoe's personal space. And we were able to go for a nice pack walk. We even went to a dog park. We let them off leash together. Good morning, Rich. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I love the picture Donna posted yesterday of Stark in the leaves. He's that face, you just want to grab it. So again, here was a person who would never have their dog with another dog, never mind on leash, but forget about a dog park situation. And we had them together in the dog park. We had them together in her place. And was there some tension? Yeah, at one point I saw the little lip on this dog, the little dog go when Zoe got a little too close. And we made a correction. No, that's not accepted. You don't have to do that. Zoe's a good dog, without the words, of course. I just, nope. And the dog's like, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, and just walked away. Same thing happened when we took Zoe and her dog back to her place. The dog tried to get a little bit more territorial while Zoe was just chilling out. And Zoe let out a little growl while she was laying there. And the dog's like, whoop, I guess I have to give her space. And it's a learning process. But the dog was never put in that position because the owners were afraid of the reaction or the what if, which you guys all know what I feel about that question, what if. I mean, it's the dopiest question we can ever ask. So how do we fix these situations? One, we made the dog deal with whatever was going on in its mind. But the key is, and like I talk about every week, when these little dogs made the mistake or the unwanted behavior, because I don't want to say it's a mistake because they just don't know any better, the unwanted behavior, my energy stayed the same. I stayed calm. Okay, dog reacted. I made a correction. But I'm not angry at the dog. I'm not frustrated with the dog. I made a correction with no nonsense point of view, which, no, we're not allowed to do this anymore. Why? Because I said so, without the explanation. I know when I was working, since Rich piped in here, I don't know if it's Rich or Donna, but we did the same thing with them with Stark. When Stark had these unwanted behaviors, playing too hard, too much excitement, too much whatever, just simple corrections, the KISS theory of training, keep it simple, stupid. And we worked on controlling, instead of physically controlling Stark, who's a bigger dog, we mentally controlled Stark. They learned how to reward his calm, only allow him to do things with calm. The same thing goes, guys, with little dogs. Yes, okay, a little dog jumps on my leg, it's not going to bother me. And we make that as an excuse for that dog to be overly excited when people come in the house. And they jump on you and they bark at you, they jump at you, they bark at you. And it takes you 10 minutes to have a conversation in a normal tone of voice. But it's okay because it's a little dog. If a big dog did the same thing, jumped on people, jumped on people, barked with a deeper bark and a more aggressive sounding bark, they'd be, oh my God, we got to lock this dog up. What the hell? We can't have this dog around us, or we're going to have to, whatever. And all of a sudden panic mode sets in. Well, the same sense of urgency without the panic has to go to the little dogs. It's not okay for the little dog to jump on somebody's legs and bark constantly while adults are trying to have a conversation. That'd be like the little kid constantly doing mommy, 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 mommy while you're trying to have a conversation. And we wouldn't tolerate it from our children, but again, we let our dogs get away with a lot more. So we have to learn, guys, to control that excitement. I don't care what anybody says. I'm telling you, for doing this for enough years now, the number 2 cause of aggression, in my opinion, is excitement being miscorrected with anger and frustration, and not really corrected, just being angry. And then we change that excitement. Oh, I see another dog. I want to play with another dog. And we're like, no, cut it out. And then all of a sudden the dog starts putting 2 and 2 together and says, well, every time I see another dog, the person on the other side of the leash is really angry and tense and frustrated and all this that negative energy. I better not trust these other dogs. I should attack them. Overexcitement turns to aggression when you have multiple dogs in a house. No different than having multiple kids in a house. Play gets too rough, plays excitement. It gets too much, it becomes somebody gets hurt, a fight breaks out. Same thing with dogs. It happens all the time. So if we don't learn how to reward the calm in anything we do with our dogs, we're not teaching them properly. A big thing for me personally is the emotional sport animal world. As a matter of fact, I'm writing a blog that will be on my my website shortly on ESA and the problems I see with it and some of the solutions that I have in my head, how we can fix this as a community. Most people who have asked me to help them because they need an ESA dog. First of all, if you need an ESA dog, you need to get a script from a mental health expert. An ESA dog is not just a luxury. It's both honor and rich. Okay, true test happened later this week. True test happening. We have family from Waxhaw coming. It's just as cold here, so they're not going to be shocked. To stay with us for a few days. It should be interesting to see how Stark does. Stark is going to do great if you guys do great. Bottom line, you're going to set the precedent. If you're going to sit there and worry about it, Stark is going to react when they come in. Do your normal routine, guys. You know the routine. Have them on a leash. Don't, even though they're making this long trip, it's 12 hours roughly of a drive from Waxhaw to Long Island. They can't, unless they really have to use the restroom, can't come into the house until Stark is in the right state of mind. Have Stark on a leash, disagree with the excitement, keep him on the leash while the chaos is going on. The chaos of, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. The chaos of bringing the luggage in. That's all excitement for a dog and confusion for a dog. New people in the home. These things are coming in, blah, 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 blah. Keep him on a leash, keep him calm. He gets excited, we're going to disagree with it. You guys know how to do that. And when he's calm, and only when he's calm, bring him over to your guests so they can say hi to him and explain to them. If he gets excited, they have to stop petting him and start the process over again. You guys got this. I'm not even worried, but let me know how it goes because you know me. I always want to know. So getting back to the ESA, people have asked me all the time for not valid reasons. We have already prepared them for no attention to be given to Stark until he's earned it. Perfect. You guys got this. I'm not even like going to think about it until I get your text saying how successful it was. So with ESA dogs, and I do believe there's a vital part in it. We just put up Stark's Christmas tree. Great. With ESA dogs, if somebody comes to me and says they truly need it and they do have a script from a mental health professional, It's something I will take on. But what I tell people, because it's mostly an ESA dog's a family dog, we have to learn that the dog has to be a lady or a gentleman. If they're an ESA dog, that means they're going to places and they have to be respectful. Part of the Fair Housing Act. Nobody can turn you down for a house or a rental or hotel or whatever. Uh, if you have a legitimate ESA dog, but the dog shouldn't be the dog that causes stress. When I leave, it barks. It chews the moldings. It does this. It does that. These are all dogs that are not trained. And the biggest thing I tell anybody who wants me to work with them for their ESA is the first thing we have to do is teach them calm. And it always starts, and Donna and Rich can verify it. It all starts at the walk, guys. I preach this walk week in and week out, and I'm curious at how many of my regular listeners that are watching now or later on in the replay have gone to my YouTube channel and watched my how to leash train my dog playlist. Because it really, I truly believe it, guys. If you guys would learn to master the walk with your dogs in a calm, structured way, a lot of the other unwanted behaviors go away. If you master the walk and you teach threshold management, that the front door does not represent excitement, for the walking purposes, also transposes, I think that's the right word, to having guests from Waxhaw come into the home. Because that front door represents calm, that threshold represents calm. And it just all goes back to it. But again, you can't ask your dog to be calm if you're not. If you're thinking of the what if, you can't expect your dog to be calm. If you're projecting what you think might happen, your dog can't stay calm. So remember, guys, anybody who joined since I started, if you're here watching, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're watching and where you're watching from. I just love that information. Um, but it comes back. I've talked this week alone between, it was a short week because I didn't do anything. Thursday I didn't do anything really but eat. But I've had a lot of conversations this week, be it via on the phone or in training sessions. And the conversations, guys, always comes back to what I keep putting up here week in, week out. Energy is the most important communication that we have with our animals. And you have to buy into the system. Again, I know Donna and Rich and the kids have bought into my system. The calmer energy definitely has helped Stark and continues to help Stark with his continued growth and learning. The calmer you stay, no matter what the situation is, the calmer your dogs stay. If you learn to reward the state of mind, correct the unwanted state of mind, and don't go to correct the physical, perfect. I actually spoke to a lady yesterday who was one of the few people that actually said something that I always say that you very rarely hear people say. She doesn't care if her dog sits. She doesn't care. As long as the dog doesn't move forward until it has permission. So using threshold management, I tell people all the time, when you do threshold management, have your dog sit. I don't care if your dog sits personally. As long as the dog doesn't try to go out the door without permission or move forward without permission, I still have the dog's attention. The sitting is the obedience part. As any of you who know me, I don't really focus a ton on obedience. Yes, I do teach obedience. I don't focus a lot on it. I go after behavior modification and teaching the behaviors I need your dog, my dog, every dog to exist with in my environment. In our environment, excuse me, that just came out really, really wrong. And what is that? 99% of the people, guys, don't like overly excited dogs. They like calm dogs. 99% of the people don't like unsure dogs or insecure dogs. They like calm dogs. I was talking to somebody yesterday and she was saying, she was out in a different town vacationing for the weekend and she took her dog on a walk in an area it's never been, and the dog was unsure, hiding behind her, reacting to different things because it's a new environment. And that's not good for the dog, guys. If you truly are the dog's pack leader and learn how to do that structured walk on my YouTube channel that I set up, Your dog's not going to be unsure in these new situations because they're going to look at you for guidance. And as long as you're confident and you're calm, they're going to follow you. If they're unsure walking by a construction site, that's your fault. That means they don't have the confidence when there is no construction site, if that makes sense. I know, again, because I know you guys are watching, we did this with Stark with the German Shepherd down the street. Stark was reacting kind of, or good, up until we got to the house with the German Shepherd. But now things have moved past because Stark looks at them more as, oh, they're never going to put me in a bad position. Why do I have to be unsure of the situation? So it all comes down to, guys, I stress this, learn to walk your dogs and you have the happy, balanced dog you want. And a lot of those unwanted behaviors just disappear. So if this makes sense, guys, put it in the comments. Good morning, Kimberly. First time watching. Oh, hopefully you're getting a lot out of it. I know we'll be talking tomorrow, but it's real important, guys. Your energy is going to make or break anything you try to do with your dog. So, again, part of some of my conversations yesterday, I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to evade my customers' privacy, but, dogs are so in tune at reading your energy that I asked somebody yesterday a question. There was a change in their home lifestyle, and I was told the dog, when the change happened, wasn't it so happy-go-lucky goofball self that it normally is. For X amount of time, it was uh, you. The dog was mopey. I don't know if that's a good word for it. And so I asked a very pointed question. I said, well, when this lifestyle changed in your home, how was your energy? Were you upset? Were you depressed? This change happened. And the answer, of course, was yes. And the dog mimicked the energy. That's what the dogs do, guys. They truly are our mirror. If you ever want to know how your energy is that day, watch how your dog reacts. See how your dog's acting. The days you're calmer, your dog is usually calmer. The days you're more like, oh my God, I got to go to the mall. I got to go shopping. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got people coming over. Oh my God. Oh my God. Watch your dog. Your dog's doing the same damn thing. Or how many times have you gotten that bad news? Don't say a word and the dogs know it. Because they're reading our energy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why when I work with the dogs, they get it. Because my energy never changes. And again, Anna Rich, I know I'm picking on you guys a lot, but you saw it live and in living color in your home. And thank you for the compliment about, me being the dog whisperer, even though I don't like that terminology, but that's okay. It's still a compliment because I know where it comes from. The energy makes or breaks it, guys. I don't care what you tell me your problem is. Normally, when I talk about this energy, I'm talking about overly excited dogs. You guys know this. I talk this week in, week out. I talk about overly excited dogs. But that same energy, that calm energy, works on dogs that are insecure, unsure dogs, aggressive dogs. If truly aggressive dogs, it works because if that dog's aggressive, it's no different than that person that's in that mood that's trying to goad somebody else into that same state of mind. And if you don't go into that state of mind, it takes them right out of their game. It's the same thing with aggressive dogs. I'm not saying kids don't try this at home. You're dealing with an aggressive dog, get a professional. But when I work with aggressive dogs, I stay calm. Actually, I go calmer because I need that energy to overpower them. And it's not overpowering them with this. I don't need to do that. I don't want to do that. Guess I'm freaking lazy. I don't want to be overpowering dogs. I mean, I don't remember how much Stark weighs. Stark's a good 60, 70 pounds, I would assume, maybe 50 pounds when I worked with him. He was a strong freaking dog. I never once tried to overpower that dog. Never. Never would. The dachshund I worked with or the chihuahua I worked with this week, I didn't try to overpower them. I mentally control them by knowing my timing on my corrections was good. Caught them early. Remember, I always say you want to catch them early on your corrections. Don't wait for the explosions. Always try to catch it early. My timing was good on my corrections. My energy was good on my corrections. They got it. We were able to coexist. The dachshund that was just as nutty as the Chihuahua walking the dog, same dog, Zoe I brought out. Zoe knew that dog was all bluff because the moment they got together, Zoe laid down. And a dog won't lay down around a dog that it thinks is a threat because it's vulnerable. And Zoe picked it up quicker than I did that the dog is not aggressive. It's all bluff. It's 100% bluff. He is a good 68, 70 pounds now. Good boy. He put on some weight. Yes. Um, but again, I know Donna, Rich, Alex, and Brian. Yeah. Brian's a big kid. He can physically control Stark. He doesn't need to. It's such a better way to enjoy being with your dog. If I have to physically control a dog, it's not fun. It's not fun walking the dog. And again, when I say physically control, guys, it could be that Yorkie. If I'm constantly physically controlling her, or my arm is being stretched, even though they're not pulling hard because it's only a Yorkie, I'm not enjoying that walk. When the dog is with me and we're walking together, it's enjoyable. It's pleasurable. It makes such a difference. And I'll put it up there again this week after these things publish on Facebook and YouTube. I'll put the links up for the playlist of how to leash train your dog. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. And really focus. Go episode 1, master it. Go to episode 2, master it. Go to episode 3, master it. Go to episode 4, master it. Then go to episode 5, master it. Then you mastered the walk. And Donna, Rich, you guys, if you're still watching, once you guys mastered the walk, did you notice a difference in the other unwanted behaviors Stark exhibited, either in the house or in the yard or anything like that? Because I keep telling people, if you learn to master the walk, most of those other unwanted behaviors go away, and the ones that are left are easy to fix because the way I designed that walk, huge difference. The way that walk is structured that we laid out for everybody, it's about leadership. So even if there's some unwanted behaviors that we mastered the walk, the dog is good, it's like having an off-leash experience. Yes, I'm doing really good, and there's still some unwanted behaviors. Your corrections are so much easier because the dog sees you as that pack leader that they need you to be. So when you say no, it means more. It has more relevance. So if it's a dog that counter surfs and you say no after they're really good on the walk, they're like, oh, I guess that the no that's outside, when I'm pulling on the leash, and that no when I'm counter surfing, that's the same sound. Oh, that means I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, I'll stop it. They say it helped us feel more comfortable, more confident. Stark looks at us as we are the pack leaders, and that's what you want your dog to do. I was working with that dachshund this week, and even the Chihuahua, and after a few corrections, they started looking at me for guidance. Like when they see another dog or a leaf or whatever it was, or a person in the distance, they look at me. Am I allowed to react? And I'd be like, nah, you're not allowed to. I didn't say it, but they read it from my energy. Yeah, I really don't want you to do that. And they got it. And I didn't have to use a lot of the verbal commands. I didn't have to have this conversation with them. Why shouldn't, when that little chihuahua went after Zoe, I didn't have a whole conversation saying Zoe can eat you for an hors d'oeuvre. Zoe's reaction actually taught it better than mine because Zoe was no nonsense about it. And that dog was like, yelp, didn't get hurt, just got scared. And then wouldn't go within 2 to 3 feet of Zoe after that for the longest time. Until we took them to the dog park, then they got closer together when they were off leash. But when Zoe made that correction, Zoe wasn't angry. She wasn't frustrated. She was supposed to stay there. With that energy, you're not allowed in my personal space, kid. I don't like it. And she created the rule. And the problem being is that little dog it's okay to jump on somebody's legs doesn't realize it's not okay to jump on another dog's face. And an alpha dog that isn't as balanced as Zoe may hurt that little dog, if that makes sense. So again, what happened? Human created. It's okay to jump on me. Well, then if it's okay to jump on you, it's okay to jump on whatever I want. So no, it's not okay. If you want to invite your dog to jump on you, that's a different story. Of course, you can do that. That's your decision. Don't let the dog make the decision. Oh, excuse me. So, guys, I'm not getting any questions this week, so we're going to wrap it up at about the half hour mark, it seems like. Um, but I do want to hear anybody who's watching, first time watchers or whatever, let me hear your success stories. Shoot me comments. Shoot me. When I feed Stark, I don't use any verbals anymore. Good. I do change his routine a little bit so that he remembers who, what is relevant, us the humans, right? And and great point, guys, because I tell people all the time, most dogs don't look at their humans as their relevant entities. They're just, especially when it comes to walking, you're just a thing holding my leash. You need to become more relevant in your dog's world. That means they have to look at you for guidance. This is a great point. Stark was an idiot when it came to feeding. By controlling the food, I mean face reality. The pack leader controls the food. And without using all the words, without using anything but your energy, whatever. Stark gets it, and you change the routines up, which is perfect. I tell people all the time when you walk the dog, if you normally go out your driveway, you make a left. Every so often, make a right. It's okay. Change up the routine. It's a good thing. Once you start mastering the walk, then really change the routine up. Take the dog in the car, go someplace where it's new, the walk, and show the dog that even in this new environment, I'm not going to put you in a bad position. So now you can start taking your dog to more and more places. That's the goal. Myrna, it's stressful to walk my Chihuahua Yorkie mix. She's 8 years old, but because she wants to bark at all dogs and doesn't want to walk much. Well, you got to change that structure on her. My guess is when from the moment she sees the leash, she's probably excited. She probably is excited when she gets out the front door. And if she's excited at both of those points, the outside world is too hard to control. She's barking at every other dog because of excitement. And she's also barking at all the other dogs because she's using her eyesight, not her nose. That's another big problem with some of these small dogs. They tend not to use their nose to smell that it's another dog. They see it, they react to sight, which is part of I'm assuming, I'm not a vet, but part of their prey drive motion. I got to go for it. Uh, but again, what I would tell you to do is what I tell everybody to do. One, control the threshold. She has to walk out the front door very calmly. If she doesn't walk out the door like a lady, she can't walk out the door because she's too excited and you're not relevant in her world. Once you master threshold management, and like Myrna, I'll put the link to my YouTube playlist on how to leash train your dog on the Facebook, uh, in the comments on the Facebook pages, so you can follow along on what I'm talking about here. But if you start the walk off calm with the dog at a lower level of excitement, it's easier to control the unwanted behaviors outside. And what normally happens is you see the other dog or the person or whatever before she does. You get tense. Oh crap, she is going to do this. She may not even see the dog yet, but you're already getting tense on it. You're already like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is gonna happen, this is gonna be embarrassing, and all this crap that goes through the humans' heads. So what I would tell you to do is one, don't do that. Say, oh yes, there's another dog coming. This is my opportunity to teach her. And then start watching her. And as soon as you see any change in her normal walking routine, could be or ears go forward or back, depending on how her ears are. Hackles come up a little bit, whatever it may be. There's always a warning. Once you see that slightest change, leash correction. No. Firm but fair. Not the leash correction is not to throw her into the tree next to you, just to get her attention. No. Sit. Get her to focus on you. You become more relevant than that other dog. She's not allowed to react to it. And then every time she reacts to it, you're going to correct her, but try to catch that at a lower level. Don't wait for the explosion. I'm going to tell you now, guys, I've seen it because I watch dogs all the time here. People walking their dogs. Everybody waits for the freaking explosion to try to correct their dog. And if we use that 0 to 10 scale, if they're at an 8 when you start making your corrections, you got to make your correction at a 9 or better. And nobody wants to do that to their dog because that's a hard ass correction. it's easier to get through their mind at lower levels. So normally when a dog is walking, say they're at a level 2 or 3 of excitement or stimulation or whatever words we want to put on it, when they get to that 4, that's when you want to make the correction. Don't wait for the 8. You wait for the 8, it's too hard. I don't even like doing it, guys. I don't like that part. Will I deal with it? Yeah. But I'd rather catch him at a lower state, because then my correction, instead of being, could be boom instead of boom, because at a higher level I have to correct higher, otherwise they don't feel it. So if you watch your dog, look at the body language of your dog. They tell you a lot. It tells you a lot. The slightest change when they pick up that other dog, if you catch them very quickly with a firm, assertive no with a leash correction, give them something else to do, which is the sit or look at you, whatever command you want to give them. Keep them focused on you. Now that other dog isn't so relevant. You're more relevant. And that's the key, Myrna. You need to become more relevant in your dog's world. So if she's excited going out your front door, and Donna and Rich can speak to this highly because we worked hard on threshold management with Stark, it's almost next to impossible to control that outside world if you can't control the inside world. There's so many more stimuluses outside that if you can't control that part, that 3-foot section of that threshold, there's no way you can basically correct the outside world, control it. It's too hard because their mind is already at a level that's too high for you to correct. So start at episode 1. Put the leash on the dog when the dog's in a calm state of mind. If they're excited, don't put the leash on the dog because you're rewarding the excitement. When we get to the door, don't let them bolt out the door. Don't let them go out the door in front of you. That door should be able to be wide open. Your dog not even thinking about going out. They should be looking at you saying, when can I go out? Okay, now you can come out. And if they walk out like ladies and gentlemen, we can continue. If they bolt out like gangbusters, they come back in and we start the process over again. So they learn the only way they can get into the outside world is when their mind is here, not here. Does it make sense? Guys, let me know in the comments. But it's a labor of love. It's going to take time. There is no quick fixes in this. Watch my YouTube series, guys. I say it week in, week out. I hope you guys do take advantage of it. I don't get comments saying people are watching it, so I don't know if they are or not. You guys have to tell me. But I'll definitely put the link up on on the 3 YouTube Facebook pages that this is broadcasting on. I'll put the link on there. It'll be, of course, on my YouTube channel. And watch it and let me know how it works. Like I said last week, some exciting things are coming up. A lot more video opportunities for me. I hope to actually videotape some of my sessions. Working on it, guys. But at this point, we're at about a 40-minute mark. We're going to wrap it up. I know the holidays are coming up, and you guys probably want to do anything but sit there and look at my mug all day long. So with that being said, guys, again, thank you for inviting me in your house. It's a free service that Back to Basics puts out there each and every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. The only thing I ask in payment is please share my Facebook page with all your friends and families around the country and around the world. Invite them to join us at this 11 o'clock Saturday morning coffee with Back to Basics. The more people, the merrier. I want the questions. I love having the questions. I want to be able to help because truly, and anybody who's watched me knows that this is one of my favorite mottos is together we can help one dog and one family at a time. And I really want to get that out to the world. So with that being said, guys, as always, thank you for inviting me into your homes each and every Saturday morning. I really do appreciate it. Stay healthy, stay safe. God bless, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. And remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.